Hi everyone, this is Jason
and Lorraine
from the Sow the Land podcast. And in today's podcast, we're going to talk about how we found community. And also, we are also going to pick a winner for our Mother Earth News Fair ticket giveaway here that's happening here in Asheville, North Carolina. But first, we're going to talk about what we did this week. We put out a few videos this week. Mainly, I think it was on that greenhouse I was building.
Right. But you finally finished the greenhouse.
Yes. So that greenhouse took me like 8 days, pretty much 8 full days of working on the greenhouse, pretty much by myself. And I finally finished it this week. And yeah, it was pretty exciting to finish the greenhouse. And Justin and Rebecca, they seem to be really happy about it, and they really, really loved it. And yeah, just super thankful to be a part of that, and you know, thankful that they even asked me to build them a greenhouse. And yeah, that was a fun build. And you know, I'm posting the final. I just edited the final of greenhouse video, so that's like the final video, like a series of videos. So you can check those out on our YouTube channel. What other videos did we do?
You did a really fun video with your friend Tyler about growing mushrooms.
Oh yeah.
Or inoculating mushrooms.
Yeah, inoculating mushrooms. Yeah, that was pretty fun. Tyler's a cool guy. He's pretty fun, a fun guy.
Yeah,
fun guy.
Pun intended. But it looked like you guys were having a fun time while you guys were doing that.
Yeah, it was fun. That's something that Tyler had brought out to me, like, I think it was been a few years, maybe 2 years. 2 years ago, he's like, "Hey, have you ever grew mushrooms?" That's just when I think we first met, and I was like, "No, man, that's something that was always back in my mind that I think it'd be cool to do." And he's always wanted to do it, so we always kind of talked about it the last couple of years, and finally he was like, "You know what? I'm gonna buy the stuff to do it. Let's do it." And I was like, "Okay," and then I'll do some video on it. And so yeah, that was pretty fun for both of us to we're trying to figure it out in the video.
Yeah, and those mushrooms were shiitake mushrooms, right?
Yeah, they were shiitakes, and they won't produce maybe this time next year. So we won't really know if what we did worked until a year from now, which is, you got to be patient about it, I guess.
Yeah, I'm excited about that because I love mushrooms. Yeah,
that should be fun. And I think we have a perfect spot for it by our little creek. And so that's where I put, there are 3 mushroom logs, and that's where I put them. And I did a video on it, so if you want to check that out. But yeah, that was a fun thing to do. It was something a little bit different than just, I've never done like a mushroom video like that. And one thing that we did do this week was we got our garden going. Well, we prepped our garden.
The garden beds.
Yeah.
The hills.
Right. And we had Casey from Honey Tree Farms. He's out fairly close by here in North Carolina. Casey came out and brought his BCS tractor and helped us kind of reheal our rows, kind of get it going, and it was pretty nice to have him, because he has his own market garden, Honey Tree Farms. That him and Tori, they start this market garden, and they've been growing for a few years, and they know a ton about how to grow food. And they seem to be, they're always like really successful at it. And so they finally started on their own and started their own market garden. And it's just kind of nice to, when you have somebody that knowledgeable, and then he's like helping us and just kind of giving us that reassurance that, yeah, we are doing something right. You know, like the way we garden is like a no-till garden method. And we basically like have hilled rows, and we put wood chips in the aisle, and he's like, yeah, that's everything that what you're doing is looks good. Like it's correct. You know, like coming from somebody who's very knowledgeable in that realm, it's a good feeling, you know, because we're like, okay, maybe we do know what we're doing.
He was pretty quick about it too. Like he came out and just started showing us what to do, and I felt like what he did in our yard would have taken us like weeks to do for some reason, but he was able to accomplish it in like a matter of hours.
Yeah, it probably took us a couple weeks for us to do it, but then like me and him were working on it. You were working on it. Penelope was out there, and we were all kind of like, in a matter of maybe a half a day, we prepped pretty much the entire garden, and now we're still have to bring in some wood chips and maybe some weed barrier around the garden, but for the most part, it's pretty much ready to plant. But then, you know, we don't plant usually till Mother's Day, just to be on the safe side. There's frost, but
the Farmer's Almanac said technically we could plant like April 18th.
Oh yeah, I mean it's warm enough.
It's warm enough.
I don't think it's gonna snow again.
No, I don't think it should. I mean, if that's what the Farmer's Almanac says, is the last frost date is April 18th.
I guess we could essentially plant pretty much now, but I think we want to wait till, I don't know, when we have some more time.
Yeah. Time.
Like a full day to just like
right.
Get out there. I mean, that's how we usually do it.
Right. And then plus we haven't really figured out, like laid out garden plans, like, you know, which row is going to be what, because we were kind of waiting for Casey to come and help us out with the rows. Now we know how many rows we have and what it looks like, and so we can kind of plan that out, like, you know, where we're going to place everything.
Yeah, and we have an idea, but yeah, once we figure that out, then we could go out there and, because we like to direct seed all our seeds. Like like on one day we like to direct seed all the seeds that we have. We'll just direct them right into the ground, all in one day, and you know, you plant it and then we're done.
But we've had some stuff in the greenhouse too that we're playing around with, and some tomatoes seedlings, and they've come up and they look great.
Yeah, that was the first time. Like, I think the key is to starting seeds is to actually water it.
Yeah. Well, it's hard for us to remember to go out there and water it. I don't know why. Why is it so hard?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know. Maybe we're just not used to. I mean, we go out there and feed the chickens every day. I mean. Yeah.
So when you feed the chickens, water the garden.
Yep.
Water the plant starts.
Yeah.
But I think that's key. And plus the soil that we got from Dirtcraft Organics, I think that was
amazing soil.
It's really great soil. So I think that maybe the combination of that soil and then actually watering them, yeah, plants are growing, which is awesome. And how I met Casey and Tori, I met them, I think it was almost 3 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we had just started YouTube, and we were posting, you know, we had our Instagram, and he contacted us and was like, hey, we're in the Asheville area, can we come out and visit and see your place? And that was the first time that somebody actually contacted us and wanting to come out. It was somebody that we didn't know at all, and it was a little bit weird.
It was a little bit weird. Like, I remember thinking, like, why would somebody want to come out and see our place? Yeah, that was a little bit weird. I was wondering why somebody would want to come out and see our place.
Yeah, but then we said, sure, you know, come out. And so they came out, and they're totally cool people, and we've remained friends, and we hang out every now and then when we can. And then he contacted me and was like, hey, he needed help. This was recently this year. He needed help with his, he's starting to market garden, so he's building a cooler inside his garage. And so he needed help like framing some walls, and I was like, yeah, I'll come out and help you. So I helped him, and then he's like, hey, I'll come out and help you with your garden, and we'll get that garden prep and get that going. You know, if you come help me, I'll come help you. And so I was like, yeah, that's awesome. So I went out there and helped him. He came out, helped us, And, you know, I guess that's what's great about this homesteading community. You know, a lot of like-minded people here, and just kind of helping each other out. And I think that's awesome. I think that's a perfect segue into our community, like how we found community here.
Yeah, and if you don't know our story, we moved all the way from California to North Carolina, and we knew like maybe a small handful of people when we moved out there, but we knew them through social media. So
Right.
we didn't have family here, or like, you know, an already an established circle of friends here. So we kind of just had to build off of that. So that's what one of the questions that we got was how we found community here. And
Right.
how would you say we did that?
I think, you know, I think it's important that, like, if we get invited somewhere, like, to always go.
Yeah. I remember that when we first moved here, we would be like, okay, we got invited to something else. Let's go to that.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, you should. I mean, I think if we're in California and, you know, we lived there our whole lives, so we had like friends and family there, and so like, you know, sometimes you get invited to like a barbecue or a potluck, and you're like, we don't need to go to that. You know, like we hang out with these people like every weekend. Like,
Right. Or we're too busy this week, we have to say no. But...
yeah, or it's just like an excuse, like, I don't want to go. We're just gonna stay home. But like when we moved here, we kind of just said, you know what, we need to go. We need to go. If we get invited to a potluck or over somebody's house, or maybe like a kid's birthday party, like yes, we need to go, because this is an opportunity to possibly meet new people, make friends.
And how uncomfortable is that for us? I mean, we are introverts, we're very quiet, shy, like people, and just pushing ourselves out there to make new friends. It can be difficult and it can be very uncomfortable, but you know, I don't know, we just did it, and I think we've built a neat little circle of friendships that way.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's like, I don't know, it forces, like for me, it forced me to like, okay, I'm not going to know anybody at this gathering, this party or whatever, or potluck. And so it forces me to just go up to people and introduce myself, like, hey, what's your name? You know, like, hey, so, you know, what do you guys do? You know, like, or do you guys have some acres? You know, and then it just kind of like snowballs into that, like, you know, we're pretty much all homesteading people. Like, we have this homesteading thing in common. You know, like, people grow their own food, you know, like, raise animals. You can ask, like, hey, how, you know, what do you do for work? You know, just kind of curious on, like, you know, how people live out here, and what are they doing. And I think for me it is important to just almost like get out of my comfort zone and ask these questions and just push myself. And then I think over the years, I think we both have grown as people, like more like our communication skills are a lot better, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not as shy, even though I still am shy, but I'm not as shy because I know the importance of building community. So if we are at, you know, an event or something, I will force myself to to go up to people and you know, and try and make conversation. But another way that we built community was, or we found community, was through potlucks. We got invited to a lot of potlucks, and that was a thing, you know, out here when we first moved out here, and it's been great. I don't know, I think back in California, we thought potlucks were
They were potlucks, but they were more like barbecues.
Yeah, barbecues. We call them barbecues.
Yeah.
We're having a barbecue.
Yeah, we're having a barbecue, but here they're potlucks, and like, I think we've met, majority of the people that we've met that are friends now, are good friends now, we met through potlucks. And I mean, yeah, that's just one of those things where we just forced ourselves to, let's go to this potluck, and next thing you know, you just make all these connections.
Right.
And you know, even like connections that helped me, like even with our business, like, hey, they need some work done. Hey, I could do that, like just kind of like networking, right? And then you're just meeting like really good friends through that, and which is great. Like, I think potlucks are a perfect way, if you're new to an area, how to find your community. I would say even if maybe you're not getting invited to potlucks, or like how do you find out about potlucks? Maybe start your own potluck and just invite your neighbors.
And social media can be a good tool for that too.
Yeah.
We found there's a couple different groups on Facebook that we belong to, just like homesteading groups in our area. And just being on those groups, you were able to see like, oh, somebody's having a homesteaders potluck, or
just making connections through that.
Yeah, so
even start your own maybe community group, within your area, I think would be a good way to start. And I mean, that reminds me of when we were in California. Remember we started the Inland Empire Food Swap?
Oh, right. That was awesome. I really enjoyed that.
Which a food swap, we started our own food swap in our area in California. And, a food swap is almost like a potluck, where people, like they either grow their own food or make their own homemade food.
Or forage their own food.
Yeah. And then we all come together and then we trade.
Yeah, it's just bartering. But there's no money involved, which is great, because you don't have to, what was it? You don't have to
put a price on it.
You don't have to put a price on anything, and then you don't have to be official. Like, you know how like if you sell food, you have to have like a food kitchen. But with this one, there's no money involved, which means like you're just sharing with friends. So it kind of makes it like safe under the table,
like if like we make jam or something, like, okay, I have this jar of jam that I made. I'll trade you this jam for maybe you have a loaf of bread that you made.
Right.
Or if you're growing like, maybe you have an abundance of apples from your apple tree.
Yeah.
You could bring like some apples, and like I could trade you this for that. And so
it was great.
Yeah, it was awesome.
We met so many people that way.
Right. I mean, that's a good way of finding your community.
And that was a group that we started that didn't exist. So, if you were saying that, there's no programs or potlucks or communities that already exist, you can just create your own, and then just get it going. And it'll start out little, but, friends have friends and friends have friends. And then, they invite their friends. And then, that's how it started with them.
Yeah, it just snowballs from there. And then, we made a Facebook group. And we just started inviting friends and friends and friends, and then they invite friends, and then next thing you know, we got a good big group going, and we're doing it like maybe once a month. We're getting together and just doing a food swap. That's a great way of building or finding your community. And if there's no Facebook groups of, say, maybe you need to start one. Maybe there's a local, even if it's like a tiny homesteading community, maybe you start your own like homesteading Facebook group, and invite people. And I know not everybody is on social media or Facebook, right, but I think majority of people are, for the most part. And this is how people find each other now.
Right. And not everyone might be into homesteading as
right.
you might think when you're starting, like, say, a Facebook group or something. But there are people who are interested in this topic and maybe this type of lifestyle. And, by you starting a Facebook page, you never know what that could lead to, how many times you can inspire other people. Or maybe they're just like, wow, I find this so interesting. And they'll want to come to your potluck and talk about it with you and find out more information. So it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, or maybe somebody might not even know this type of thing existed, but right. like maybe they really enjoy it, or like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know what homesteading was, or I didn't know, like, we could make home cooked meals, like stuff like that. And maybe just it's almost like you're kind of planting a seed in your own community and be like, yeah, let's get together and like share ideas and share gardening tips and just kind of hang out at each other's house and share food together. And I think that's a good way of doing it.
Yeah, another way that we found community was through our church.
Yeah.
So when we were in California and we hadn't moved over here yet, one thing that was really important to us when we were finding a place to live was, you know, one of the requirements that we chose on our list of things was, you know, wherever we chose had to have a church that we could belong to. And so we had researched that before we even moved out here. And so we found a couple places online that we kind of narrowed down to one, and then we came and we got involved in our church. We belong to like a community group that meets, you know, privately, and it's a smaller group within our big church. So, I mean, it's been great. We've been able to meet new friends and, you know, connect with them and share, you know, our struggles and joys in life. And so that's been a wonderful blessing too, as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. The church aspect of it is really great. It's like, you know, the church community and then like the homesteading community, you know, potlucks. Like, so I think the main way how we were be able to find our community is through potlucks in church. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think pretty much if you seek out those two things, you will find your community.
Right. And then if you're a homeschooler, like we're a homeschooling family, that was really challenging. And I know there's a lot of, you know, parents out there who are seeking a homeschool community and they just haven't found it. But I want to encourage you, don't give up. We tried out a couple of homeschool groups that maybe just, it didn't really work out. It didn't fit our methods or our ideas, and that's okay. Eventually, the more people you meet and talk to, you know, you'll find something. But, you know, I want to encourage you to keep on trying and going out to things that you're invited to, and eventually something will click. But yeah, homeschooling community has been great too. It didn't happen for us right away. Like for the first year that we moved out here, we couldn't find a homeschool group that we felt that meshed with our ideas, and so you know, after, I don't know, maybe it was 8 months into it, and that's when I met the right person who connected me to a homeschool group, and we've been there ever since. So yeah, homeschooling. Yeah,
and I think also, you know, we make our own like products that we sell. Mm-hmm. And so when we first moved here, I started doing like the local craft shows. And I mean, Asheville is like awesome for craft events and like shows like that. And so that helped. Like as I was doing these craft shows, almost got into like, started meeting people like this maker community, you know, like people doing the same thing, just making things and selling things, and like the local craft like artist community here. And as I was doing these shows, I was meeting these people, and like then that kind of got us into this into that community of the people just like making stuff, really creative, artistic people. And we're friends with a lot of these people, and you know, we have our own shop space in Asheville. That has helped us build our community or find our community through that, because there's a lot of local artists in there and kind of people in that same maker community space, and I think that's helped us find our community that way. Like it's almost like, you know, you got your church community, homesteading community, maker community,
homeschooling community.
Yeah.
There's just like these different circles of people, and you know, somehow we're all connected, and it's great. Yeah. And the friendships that we share through these circles has just been awesome, and it's really helped us make that move from California to North Carolina a whole lot easier and a lot more welcoming.
I mean, as much stuff as we have going on, we still manage to find the time to say yes. And like, okay, we have a potluck to go to today. You know, like we should go, let's go. You know, and now we go, and you know, 9 times out of 10 we'll meet somebody new there.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, speaking of events coming up, we are having a meetup, and it's going to be April 26th. That's a Friday from 5 to 7. And it's going to be at the Bill Moore Community Park in Fletcher. If you want more information, you can visit our Instagram page or our Facebook page, or
we're also YouTubing this video, so
right.
we could put the info down in the show notes of this video.
Right.
But yeah, that's another way. That's going to be like a good homesteading / YouTube community there. That's in this local Asheville area. And that's another way to find your community, is maybe by going to this event. You know, who knows? You might find some like really good friendships there.
Right. There's the whole YouTubing community. Yeah,
there's definitely good community out here with that. But
yeah, and so that is the same weekend as the Mother Earth News Fair, which we are doing a giveaway, and today is the day we get to pick the winner. So I've got a hat here.
Yes.
If you're listening, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. I've got my little straw hat, and it's filled with everyone who has entered the, I don't know if you can see it in the video.
So we had 25 entries
for our giveaway, and I'm shaking it up right now. You can.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this on our podcast, you could watch this on YouTube if you want.
Okay, so we've shaken up all the names. We've got all the entries in here for the giveaway.
Should I pick it?
Yep. And pick. Pick one.
Just one? All right, here we go.
Upstate Neat Freak at gmail.com.
All right.
We are going to email the winner, and let's show the camera.
I don't know if
you can see that. We're going to email the winner, and we're going to let you know how to get your tickets. But we want to thank everyone for entering into our giveaway. And what do you think if we do another giveaway?
Yeah.
For another pair of tickets. What about on Instagram? Should we do it on Instagram?
Yeah, we could do that. So
if we didn't pick your name and you really want a pair of tickets, head on over to Instagram. We're going to do one more giveaway for a pair of weekend pass tickets for the Mother Earth News Fair, and that is April 27th and April 28th. That's coming up. That's really soon.
Yeah, and we'll be there just kind of hanging out. We don't have a booth there or anything, but we're just going to be there roaming around.
Yeah, come say hi to us.
And if you see us walking around, don't be afraid to like stop us and introduce yourself to us and just say hi, hang out for a bit. Yeah, I think that'd be fun. Yeah. So that concludes this podcast for this week. You can listen to this podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, all the podcast apps. So if you're in the kitchen or washing dishes, you can listen to the podcast, or if you're in your car
or in your garden.
You're on your computer, you can listen to us on the podcast. Or if you prefer, we also have been YouTubing these podcasts, so you can also watch us do the podcast on our Sow the Land YouTube channel. But if you're listening to us on iTunes, leave a comment and give us a rating. Let us know how we're doing. It helps us to kind of keep it going. And if you have any questions for us, message us on Instagram or comment down in the YouTube on this YouTube video. But we appreciate you guys listening
and watching.
And we'll see you guys next time.